The time is now to architect a life of excellence. What will we do? Who will we become? We decide today. This is Learn, Do, Become Radio. Let's move onward and upward together.
Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry.
And I'm Eric Perry. We are excited to be with you today.
Today we're talking about how to painlessly process your inbox. Because who doesn't get excited about learning how to file papers?
Because the alternative would be to hide all those piles, messy and disorganized as they are, in a closet or in a garage or somewhere else.
Who would do that?
Me.
Okay, actually it was funny because I told Eric I wanted to record this podcast about how I had a huge pile of papers and it had been sitting there and I did not want to process it because it felt like it was going to take forever. It happened in about 15 minutes. It was totally painless and I photographed the process along the way and took notes so I could help you.
Because don't we all photograph ourselves processing our inbox as we spend 10 or 15 minutes going through it saying someday I'll want to show people what it was I did with this pile of insurance bills or this blood test or this paper that needs to go back to our kids' school.
So then I asked Eric if he wanted to record with me, and he said, well, I don't really have much to add about processing papers. And then I said, well, Eric, your desk looks beautiful right now. It's totally clear and organized.
And then I pointed out it was because we had guests in our home about a week and a half ago. And she's like, well, it all looks so good. I'm like, that's because I took the 3 primary piles and just hid them off into the closet off to the side of my desk. And she's like, did you really do that? And I'm like, yes, I really did that. I stacked them up in a way that I can go back through them and get things done, but I couldn't do it right then. So I moved the piles, much to my stepping shame, away from my desk into a closet. So if you want proof in the photos, I will post a photo there perhaps, along with all of April's photos of random piles on the carpet, because who doesn't lay out piles on the floor saying, hey, look at these?
Okay, so the goal is to help you not to feel overwhelmed if you have a lot of stuff and you don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to give you an example and show you how I took a pile that had grown a little bit more than usual because I had some conferences and things. But I'm just going to walk you through and show you how simple it is to actually process things so you have clear space and you can breathe.
And this will absolutely work for you if you're awesome like April at processing stuff, or if you're mediocre like I am, you can still get the same results. It's possible.
Eric does process his things. He just doesn't always do it
April's way.
my way.
The right way.
Okay, so
the good way.
Let's imagine that you have a pile of papers, or it could be just other stuff that you need to process.
They may not need to imagine. You may not need to imagine anything. You might just need to look around and say, oh, got that.
If you want to see our photos as you're listening, you can go to learndobecome.com/episode 31 for episode 31. And we'll show you exactly what we're talking about. Okay, so first I just took a photo of my pile, which wasn't that bad, but it was enough that I was starting to feel a little bit tense. And Eric knows that when I have unprocessed papers and unprocessed emails, I get a little bit frustrated.
Tense wife,
maybe.
Tense life.
Okay, so what I did first is I actually did go sit on a little carpeted area right next to my desk.
We call it our floor.
I put out my papers into sub-piles. Now, here's the thing. When we teach in our program's called Steps to Everyday Productivity. We talk about how when you process a pile, we follow what David Allen suggested in his book, Getting Things Done, where you start at the top of the pile and you just work your way down. You don't put things back in the pile because then you'd never want to actually get them processed. But what I did is I just took that pile and I sat on the floor and I segmented it into a few different piles so like things could be together, which would make the processing a little bit easier. Are you getting distracted? Are you bored?
That makes sense. I'm totally here.
Okay. So I have a photo of my segments that you can see at the learndobecome.com/episode 31. But I just have it set up.
Episode 31 or just 31?
Episode 31.
That's for episode 31.
Okay, so these are the piles. Things like stuff that needs to be put in the trash or recycle bin. I had one little bookmark that needed to be put into my planner. I had a pile of things that did need action because as you're processing your papers, you're going to find things that are going to need, a phone call or something to be delegated or some other thing that needs to be done, which we'll get more into that in a minute. I had a few things that need to be put into my closet, little office closet area. a pile that need to go into Evernote. You could also use OneNote, or if you have a Notes app or somewhere else where you like to keep track of things that you scan into your phone. I also had receipts to go into Freedom Filer. If you haven't used that yet, freedomfiler.com is my favorite. I recommend it to everyone. It's fantastic. They have these rotating folders for receipts. They're awesome. Then I had a little clipboard that needed to go in a drawer. I had a few things that needed to go into my storage boxes. We just keep a couple boxes for keepsakes. And then I had a couple things that needed to go into our son Spencer's room. Okay, so...
And a partridge in a pear tree.
So by just segmenting it, I now had my receipts together, Evernote things together, the things that required action together, and it just helped my mind to see that it really wasn't that much to process.
True.
Okay, all right, so then I just went ahead and put the things away that needed to be put away. Now, you could wait till the end. You could finish processing everything, and then when you stand up, go put everything away. That could work too, because what we don't want is for you to get up and go put something away and then get distracted and think, oh yeah, and that should have been done there, or oh, I do need to put some laundry in. We don't want you wandering all over your home or your office. We want you actually getting this done. So I went ahead and put things away, and then I have this photo here, Eric. Isn't that awesome?
That is a beautiful photo.
It's just two piles that were left.
On the area of carpet we call the floor.
So the middle pile was just a couple things, basically 3 things that needed to go into Evernote. So I went ahead and processed that, and then I just had...
We down one pile.
One little pile left. So often...
One pile of stuff.
So what you'll find is that when you're trying to process your stuff, whether it's cleaning out a closet, cleaning out your desk, trying to get organized, by the time you actually put things where they need to go, typically you're going to find that the things that require action actually make up a very small percentage of that pile.
True.
Okay, so then what I did is I actually spread it all out so I could show you
Oh, it's looking messy.
what it was that
If you
needed
people
to
are
be
looking at that photo right
processed.
now and you're feeling a little anxiety or stress, it's okay. She's going to work us through this.
Okay, it's what, like 10 things
At least.
that just needed to be processed because I couldn't just stick them in a closet because there were things that
No, are
needed
you
to
going
be
to tell
done.
us what those things are
Yes.
and what it is you did with those things?
I am, and that's the whole magic of the podcast. Because how often do you actually learn what to do with the stuff that comes into your life? Like rarely. And people will say things like, oh, do, delegate, delay. But where do you actually put that item that needs to go somewhere? Or
In a pile.
Okay, what we're talking about.
I would put it in my closet, in my office, in one of the 3 piles.
All right, so I'm just going to walk through and explain what those things were.
But this is going to be better.
This is going to be exciting. This is an alternative to putting things in your closet. Because your closet can work fine for a while. But I'm guessing...
Until it gets full.
I'm guessing that there are some things that are inside your closet that you're thinking, yeah, we got to take care of that.
That would assume that
Right?
I'm thinking about those things and worrying about them.
Okay, well,
Most people.
Most people. All right. So first I just had a notebook that needed to be reviewed from a conference. So we go through our conference notes. I needed to put some of these things into practice for our business. Eric and I have a lot of ideas, but we can't do all of them at the same time. Okay. So I just added to my next actions list that I needed to review the conference notebook, and then I put that notebook in a support cubby. Now, Eric usually uses file folders as far as his support references.
Inside of a little desk drawer, so I'll just slip those notes or that notebook into that folder so I know where it is when I need to come back to it. So if I was ready to go through it, I could say, oh, it's in that folder, pull it out, and have the time I need to go through and review the notes, take out some action items.
Yeah. So I just have a little cubby next to my desk, and it's for my Learn, Do, Become projects. And I put that notebook in there knowing that when I was working on the next action, I would know where to retrieve it. Okay, next, I did have blood test orders. This is something where the labs weren't necessary to be done right away. I have a lot going on right now, but I do want to get them done soon. So I just created a little calendar trigger. Sometimes Eric creates little reminders or appointments in his Google Calendar. I put a little trigger onto my Google Calendar to remind me to get that blood test done, make an appointment, and go do that sometime next week or something like that. Okay, next was just a card from my sister. Sometimes you get cards from your mom or cards from a friend. And
We all get cards from people sometimes, all of us.
So I did send her a text to thank her for it, and then I have a little keepsakes box where I went and put that. Okay, now that's done. Now, coupons. A lot of people ask about this. I created a calendar trigger to use actually it was a gift card for the Container Store. I'm going to be buying some stuff for my office, and I didn't want to forget about the gift card because a lot of times we get gift cards here and there.
There are
and
so
then
many gift cards and checks
forget
and
them.
cash hiding in those piles. There's a lot of money in those piles.
It's actually true. A lot of our
That's
community
why I
members
just said it with my mouth.
find a lot of money hiding in gift cards. So I created a little calendar trigger for that. But then I put the gift card in one of my cubbies as well. So I have a little cubby where I keep things that are for household management. Okay. Then we also have a little dog grooming coupon, put that in the van, and a little note to use that in a couple weeks. So if you're noticing, I'm just using the cubbies to actually hold the items so they're not sitting in the piles. And I'm using calendar triggers to help me remember to use them. So anybody can do this. It's just a matter of creating it and putting them there.
True.
Okay. Okay. So then I had a little Post-it note from Aaliyah. Now, if you are, have a budget with your children, like we were buying school supplies for back to school. And Aaliyah was helping coordinate some of the purchases that the kids were making, and she was keeping track for me. Now in Evernote, I've been keeping track of the budget and how much the kids are spending. So I just needed to track that in Evernote and get rid of the Post-it. But that's an easy way to just start keeping the process going while you're in the middle of processing those piles. Okay, then we had another nice card, sent a little text, made a note, put that in the keepsakes box. And then there was also notes I took at a meeting. I had a meeting with several moms who are giving me really good feedback for our Power of Moms website. And that's another one of those things where it's like, oh, here's ideas. I can't act on them right now. And a lot of times it's those ideas that kind of weigh you down. So I just took that little sheet of notes, put them in Evernote, and then I made a little reminder to discuss those with our Power of Moms leader.
And those things weigh you down because A, they're really good ideas and think great things could happen. But then B, you're also weighed down because you're afraid because they're in piles. You're going to lose those notes and never see those notes again and forget all about the good ideas. So this is a huge stress relieving tip here to be able to just take a few photographs of it or stick them on a piece of paper where you file it and you know where you need to get to later.
Yeah, and Eric does this a lot where he comes up with great ideas. He'll say, oh, hey, I had this index card and I had this idea for such and such. And you are an idea generator. We call him the idea guy, where he's consistently having new ideas. And if
I may or may not have a lot of scraps of paper and Post-it notes and index cards with lots of ideas on them. And I don't always process those as well as April does. So there may be a small stack of those in one of those three piles that may or may not exist in my office closet.
But what's nice is that if we could put those into Evernote and maybe have it added to an agenda item if you want to talk about them.
When you say we, you mean I, right?
You do that, add them to the agenda. But then we can talk about them and then we can help each other to get them done. Okay, then there were just 3 more pieces of paper. One was like a blender registration. And I felt like, oh, I got to fill this out. And then it didn't have the address where to send it and place to put the stamp. So I had to get an envelope. And then I realized it said the warranty was still valid if you didn't actually register your blender. So I didn't register it. I just... Okay.
Do you sleep at night?
Then the next one, there was this note-taking guide for an online conference that's happening in 3 weeks. Now, this is one of those little things that you would put into a tickler file. A tickler file, the kind that we use.
It doesn't mean you go tickle anybody. Don't do that. That could be inappropriate and could land you in serious problems.
Okay, so it has 12 folders, just one for each month. And I have an October folder, so I just put this note-taking guide in the folder. And then on my calendar for the date of the conference, I simply just put a little T with a circle around it to remind myself that I needed to go to my tickler to retrieve that note-taking guide. Because I know it seems like I'm getting kind of specific about what I'm doing with all my papers. But,
very specific.
But the reason why is because this is what's driving us crazy. When you have this little guide that you need in 3 weeks, but you can't use it before then, but you don't want to lose it, where do you typically put it? You put it in a pile.
In your office.
And then the day of the conference comes and you're digging through your pile.
For at least an hour.
For at least an hour, trying to figure out where that is.
And you never find it.
And you might not find it. And so that's why we want to help you change your life. So you create a little tickler. Now you know exactly where to go to get it.
And no one was tickled in the process of doing that.
And then the final one was a new family responsibility chart. Eric actually had put this together. We do rotations for our children's jobs, for their Saturday jobs, daily jobs. And our oldest daughter just started college, so now we have 3 children at home.
So she moved out and left all the kids with all this extra work to do.
Like, we have to work hard.
They are none too happy about that.
And so I had a couple new ideas that I wanted to add to it. So I just scheduled a task for Saturday for me to do a little bit of work on that. And then I put that into our family cubby. So again, I don't have a paper sitting on my desk anymore. Now it's in this cubby. So today I've just outlined things like using my calendar triggers, a next actions list, having some support cubbies, and having a tickler. These are all just a few components of what we call the command central. But now, Eric, you can see my picture.
It's carpet.
Mapping. You can see the piles are gone.
I thought the photos would be much more engaging if she actually had a chalk outline of a body underneath the piles and they were slowly getting uncovered. It would totally keep your attention on the photo, like what's going to happen next.
Like murder mystery movies or something like that.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Okay, but then I had an empty inbox and I had no piles.
So there's no piles on the floor or any chalk outlines.
Or in the inbox or the chalk outline. But what happens, a lot of times people will say, okay, seriously, you have 0 piles in your life. How do you do that? How do you not have piles? And I'm just trying to explain exactly how that happens. Because, yes, it's okay if you're busy and you got a lot going on. And I grew up with piles of papers in my closet, so I wasn't trying to make Eric feel bad for having piles in the closet.
Now I have
That's okay.
guilt.
But I just want you to understand that
and
it's
shame.
totally possible for those piles to go away and to be able to have a clear, calm mind. Because imagine, let's say you could do this with every pile in your life. And then what if you could do the same thing digitally? Having your email at 0, having your computer desktop clear. And then what if every room in your home and your office and everything could be organized and clear and calm? That, I think, is going to change the world.
It makes a world of difference. Yeah, to have all of your physical and digital spaces clean, to know where things are and be able to get to them when you need them. It's a huge load off your mind, and it gives you kind of this clarity and this calm that most people don't experience, and we'd love to help more and more people have that. So while I come on the podcast, offer a little comic relief, this stuff really does work. The stuff April's put together is really effective. Like, we've taught a lot of people over the years how to do this, and we hope this has been helpful to you because honestly, we want to help people be able to get out of the overwhelm, the anxiety, the piles, digital and physical, that we all face, and really help them be able to have the clarity and clean house and clean office and the workspaces so they can pursue the life they want.
I know it seems weird that I get super excited talking about filing because sometimes as I'm talking to people, I'm like, there is nobody in the world who is more excited about filing and processing papers than I am.
Which really makes us all a little concerned for her well-being and wonder what she's really all about. But it really is true. It just lights her up.
I get it so excited because it's not about the piles. It's not about the paper. It's not about the stuff that we have to do. It's about how your mind is going to feel when it's calm and clear, and how your family relationships are going to be stronger. And then when your mind actually has space to be able to think on a bigger scale, that's when you can start architecting your life and you can start thinking, hey, I bet we could make things a whole lot more exciting and a whole lot happier and have a life where we really do wake up excited and go to bed content. So come visit us at learndobecome.com/episode 31 or episode 31 to see the post and see the photos and add any questions or comments. And if you have not yet attended our free class, it's at learndobecome.com/step. We have a free class called How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles. And that's a whole lot of fun too. So have a great day and we will see you soon at learndobecome.com.
Take care.